Welcome to the Paywall Podcast, where we discuss paywalls and paywall strategies for news and magazine publishers. This episode of the Paywall Podcast is brought to you by Leaky Paywall. Leaky Paywall is the most flexible WordPress subscription platform. Find out more at leakypaywall.com, where you can download Leaky Paywall for free. And now for today's episode.
All right, we're back. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to motivate your free registered readers, because you're getting free registrations, to become full paying subscribers with a drip email campaign. Ooh. Hey, welcome to episode 40 of the Paywall Podcast. I'm Pete here with Tyler, and we're gonna talk about how you can engage and motivate those free registered readers that are on your site, enjoying your content, to become full paying subscribers. This is a very important episode. And this morning, I actually, Bosax published or republished an article about what the Washington Post has done with their brand new drip and onboarding campaign to do exactly that, to keep this is really more for paying subscribers, but to keep them from churning, which is all the same stuff. And what we're going to talk about here is this big challenge of, okay, you have free registered readers that are coming in, and anytime we turn on free registrations on a publication, they pour in, right? Like
every single time almost they pour in for.
Yeah, it's like you're building your audience. You're introducing a piece of friction, and yet people are saying, yes, please, I want in. Give me your newsletter. Give me some free content. They're not paying yet, but this is what happens. Now, some of the data points around this are really interesting. Free registered readers have a much higher chance of paying for a full subscription. Typically down the road, you have your super fans, which will pay you right away. But most of the sort of unsure readership, I call them super casuals. They love you, but they're not quite ready to pay you for you. They'll pay you down the road. And the data point for that is about 4 months. So if you take care of them, they will convert. Some, of course, sooner and some later, but that's the average number, 4 months. So let me just, before we jump in, and Tyler, I know you have been very much involved in working with setting up drip campaigns for local news publishers, and I want to jump into that. But before we do that, I just want to define what is a drip campaign.
Yep.
So a drip campaign, it's a drip email campaign, and the way it works is, like, you'll go to any website and you'll drop off your email address, and then you'll get a series of emails that are sent to you, that are dripped to you over time, like maybe over a week or a month or something like that. So typically you'll drop off your email address, and you'll get like the initial welcome email, and then you'll get another, maybe the next day you'll get another email about something else, and the next day you'll get an email about something else. Maybe a week later you'll get an email about something else. That's a drip email campaign, and it's super powerful for a lot of reasons. Okay, so the Washington Post reported 3 things, and then we'll jump to you. One is that they now have the ability to, over time with all these emails, is create a positive experience with an introduction to the benefits of being a paid subscriber. That was one big result for them. 2, it reduced their churn. Now that they were exposing subscribers to what they had, it was reducing their churn, and also increasing which increases the lifetime value, essentially, of the subscriber. So, all right. So now you've been working with the Salem Reporter, right? They're on the West Coast. They're a news publication, right?
Yep.
And I think you have some experience with their drip campaign. Anything in particular Did they always have a drip campaign?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know the specifics around what they've done. I just know that they have a drip campaign. That they partially, I know this because I signed up as a free member on their site and started getting these automated emails. So I didn't actually set this one up, but they send out, I want to say, maybe 7 to 10 emails that are on an automated basis. So like maybe when you first sign up, you get a welcome, the email that you have listed here, and sort of detailing what they're about and, welcome to the community kind of thing. And then maybe 2 days later, you get another email and it's more like, this is why we're here. We're independent. We're focused on our community. We value your support. And this kind of messaging goes far beyond what you typically see. Like, most of your readers are getting your newsletter and they're getting your content, but they're not oftentimes getting your mission. And this is where a drip campaign can shine. If someone's on the fence about whether they need to support you, maybe they like the content, but they're like, I don't know. But then they start seeing these drip campaigns, and it's like, we're independent, we value your support. All of these mission statements that come through, that is super powerful, and that can be enough to drive people to ultimately subscribe.
I've heard. I think aren't you paid by the government, or doesn't the town pay you?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many local news publishers tell me that some of their, not all of their audience, but some of their readers will tell them that, aren't you publicly funded by the government? Aren't our tax dollars helping subsidize your news? And no, that's not a thing yet.
Yeah. We talked to a high school sports news publisher, and one of his big pain points is people are they're constantly asking him, so does the school pay you to do this?
Yep.
Nope.
The business model is very elusive to those outside the industry. It's like, how are you guys staying in business?
Yeah, people think that you're doing great, like you're floating cash. You're this high profile publisher, so everybody knows about you, which means the money magically flows to you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not true.
It's definitely not true, and that's why the whole paywall experience has to be something that publishers jump on board.
Yep.
And that's pretty much why we both exist.
So the Salem Reporter, you mentioned you had gone to and signed up, but it'd probably be a good thing for really anybody listening if they want to kind of take a look at what the emails actually look like.
Yeah.
We could step through them here as well, but it's salemreporter.com. And one of the things that, I think I'm going to bet that a percentage of listeners, I bet you have a welcome email, and that's it. So, if somebody, maybe you have a free registration, well, you should, and maybe you just have a paid subscription. Maybe you're just sending a welcome email, and that's it. And I think the big risk is that people miss it. Sure, it could go to spam, but even if it doesn't, and it lands in your inbox, we're all flooded. I think my Gmail inbox has 100,000 unread messages in it. Not because I need to read them, but just because they're there. They just, stuff pours in, and you scan your email and try to pick out what's important. So the drip, if they're sending 7 to 10, if the Salem Reporter sending 7 to 10 emails, there's a pretty good chance you're going to see a few of them, right?
No doubt. And I think what's important in these drip campaigns, especially the way that they do this, is, you're talking about, your support is crucial, all of these different, different points. But there's also almost every single campaign or email that goes out has an option or a button to subscribe or sign up.
That's a good point.
There's a call out every single
Yeah.
single message.
Yeah.
So something to think about if you're setting one of these up in MailChimp or any other newsletter service.
Yeah. So let's actually, that's a good segue. Why don't we take a quick look at each one?
Mm-hmm.
This first one is the general welcome email,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of like a thank you,
Yep.
and a little bit about the mission. And to your point, like there is a like, hey, please subscribe call out right in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's what's really like awesome about having these drip campaigns is like, if someone does convert, and you can do this with Leaky Paywall and MailChimp or any other newsletter platform. If someone does convert, you can move them out of that free list into the paid list, and these drip campaigns stop. So they're no longer being, bombarded with like these mission-driven statements about subscribing. They get out of that feed. So these, if someone does upgrade, you don't have to continue to blow them up with this.
Yeah, you can you move them via tagging to a different list.
That's right.
They get now the subscriber messaging instead of the free registration messaging.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point. And that's and can you automate that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime. One of the easiest ways to do that, if you're in the Leaky Paywall world, is we have an integration with Zapier. And so, if whether you're using MailChimp or something else, you can easily, as a subscriber is updated, you can update them in your preferred newsletter platform.
Yeah, it's built in with our MailChimp integration, and then you can set it up with Zapier to do the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So if somebody pays, the tag gets changed to paid, and then they no longer get pestered with the free stuff.
That's right.
You get your paid messaging. All right. So let's just click over to this. So the second email, do you know how far apart these are spread? Are they like daily or
they get, so in the beginning, they're like a couple of days apart, and then they get really far apart. Yeah. So it starts out like you get the welcome email like 5 minutes after you sign up, and then like a day later you get the next one, and then like I think like 2 or 3 days later you get the next one, and then it might be 12, 15 days before you get the next one. So they're trying to space these out so they're not blowing up your inbox over the course of, in this case, if you had 11 emails, you don't want to send these out,
right.
one day at a time. That would drive people crazy. So
it almost sounds like a few months before all of them get sent.
It's like a month and a half or so, I think, before. Maybe you might be right. It might be 2 months, 3 months before they complete that cycle.
Which matches that data point pretty well of 4 months.
Oh yeah.
It takes 4 months on average for someone to convert. So I think that's a good point. If you're setting up a drip campaign, is spread these out over, I'd say at least 3 months. Go to 4 if you can.
Yeah.
Keep them. I mean, you're at the same time you're sending your content, right? Like here's all the latest news if it's daily, or if you're a magazine, it's maybe once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
But have that sort of that specific contact point to introduce your content and your mission and your paid messaging.
Yeah, and in their case, I mean, they have an incredible newsletter operation. I believe they have 2 different newsletters, one for free and one for paid.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are people getting the general mission drip, but they're also getting, these high value newsletters that they send out. And they're not just like latest post happens, send it to MailChimp. These are well thought out newsletters that they put together, and the open rates, I think, show that for them.
Good. Yeah. Well, I know from our previous conversations, it seems to be working for them because they're doing well.
Yeah.
And that's an important point too. If you have a free registration, you have a free newsletter and you have a paid newsletter. by default, because your free newsletters are going to have the subscription messaging, which we'll look at. The paid newsletters will not have subscription messaging because you're already subscribed, right?
Yeah.
And you can send them out at different times of day to paid, or you can have full text for news for paid, which I think every time I talk to a publisher about it, they really like the idea of a full text newsletter only for paid subscribers.
Yeah.
It adds value because now you have a premium newsletter.
Yeah.
Just for,
and you don't have to log in. I mean, it's pretty nice.
Right.
So it's just in your inbox and ready to go.
Love it. Okay. Email number 2, drip email number 2. I noticed this one was like a big mission dive.
Yep.
How like your publication is crucial to your audience. Like, how do you make your reader, and this is also very reader centric, right? Like, how do you make your reader's life better? And I think in this case, there's a mention about, hey, again, like, we need paid subscriptions to survive. Right?
Yep.
So the big mission, again, call out to subscribe.
Yeah, it goes back to what we just said earlier. You have to tell people that you need their support. You can't just assume that they know that you need your support.
Right.
Or their support. So focus on that when you're putting that drip campaign together.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So number 3,
I really like this. This is so the other, I think, 2 emails came from the editor, the publisher.
Yes.
And this one is an introduction to the managing editor, which I thought was great. Like, you're getting to know the team a bit. And that goes, I mean, above and beyond, I think, what I typically see in drip campaigns, like letting your team be involved in what these drip campaigns look like, and personalize them and introduce your team.
Yeah, this is the education reporter. And there's also, I noticed, an invitation to connect and comment.
That's right.
So just hit reply, right? And like, hey, I actually read every email.
That's right.
Very personal.
Yep.
Really, really good engagement. Okay, so that was number 3. So number 4, let's see what my notes say. Okay, who we are. It's who we are again, and topics we cover. So let me so the thing about like repeating your mission statement, you might feel like, oh my God, I'm just like saying the same thing. I mean, it's different words, but you're covering like what you do. But the reality is people miss stuff, and we need to hear. We're just bombarded by information, and we need to hear stuff over and over again for it to sort of sink in. So that, in marketing, you need to repeat messaging. Even back in the day, like even 20, 30 years ago, like you needed to repeat a message 7 times, 12 times for it to sink in. And today it's even worse, probably. I don't know what the latest data point is.
Yeah. I like this. I mean, he's you could say it's repetitive, but it's also, he's adding another layer of why you should subscribe. Like, here are some exact things that we cover in the community. It just goes into a different layer of depth. So
and what I noticed on this one is they have links to their topic category.
That's right.
You just link off to your categories, and it's like, hey, these are the things we focus on.
Yep.
It's very specific. It's like, oh yeah, local politics, I'm interested.
Yeah.
So definitely interested. Economy, events calendar, I'm definitely.
One thing I really like about the way that they structure their content is it's very simple. Sometimes you'll see news publishers and they'll have like 75 different categories. Like, they'll have 5 different categories with like 500 different subcategories. Like, they keep it simple. It's like 4 or 5 different categories. That's what we cover, and that's what we focus on.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Keep it simple. We don't have, there's the temptation to get more complicated is huge. And it's a challenge to really sort of throttle yourself. All right. So number 5, I thought this one was pretty interesting. They do a survey.
Yeah.
Surveying their readership, their free registered readership.
This is, I mean, you can do this in many different ways, but if you want to know more information about what your reader wants or what they're interested in, yes, you can track analytics and you can do things with insights through Leaky Paywall, and you can get a very good understanding of what they're clicking on and what they're converting on. But you'll get more comment this way. Ask some questions. What do they want to read? What do they want you to focus on? What's important to them? What are we missing that maybe our analytics aren't telling us? Like some of those anecdotes that you might get in a reader survey. So I think this is fantastic.
It is. And communities, like especially local communities, but all communities are passionate about whatever subject matter you're publishing about. Yeah. So when you ask, when you, the publisher, you have that monopoly sort of presence in your audience, like, hey, what do you want? That's like, yeah, I'm interested, I'm engaged. And we'll tell you. That's what you want. You want people to tell you. So they're doing an 11 question. I didn't go actually look at it, but they say it's mostly multiple choice, which I think is smart. Like have people just check off answers and then they have a comment.
You definitely don't want like 11 different boxes we have to type in. No one's going to do that. So you need this to be fairly simple, and maybe it's not the most scientific survey on earth, but you need people to complete it, to get through it. So.
Yeah. Give them a comment box at the end, and they'll sort of looked up, they can comment.
That's right. Yeah. I actually just set a survey up for another publisher about a week ago. She was specifically interested in, what do you want more of? And one thing that was interesting that she was not covering was the local business stories, like small mom and pop shops that are opening and closing and things that are happening in that arena. She had no idea that her audience was interested in that. And this is where a survey comes in handy, because she would never know that from the insights because she didn't cover it. So these are things outside of the box that your analytics just can't track.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's great stuff. I think I didn't even think about a survey, honestly, when I was working with drip campaigns, but it's definitely the way to go. Okay. Number 6, this one is a value-based newsletter. It's sort of mission-based, but it's talking about like how the work of putting this together is more than a job, and it's like, it's sort of a calling, and the principles in reporting. And then I noticed on this one that there's a call out to subscribe. That we need your support. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
So that one was a good one. Let's see. Next one. Let's see. This one is become a subscriber today. It's an invitation. It's essentially an invitation to subscribe. And they have the pricing in there. And then there's a final email 8, which I don't have up here, which is a promotion. So let's talk a little bit about so let's say you're at 3 months or 4 months, and your final email is like going to be hopefully the closer. Like, now maybe they have subscribed already. That's possible.
The hope is that maybe they've only gotten halfway through this. They've subscribed and they've gotten out of this series of emails. But if they haven't.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, Tyler, so what would you do? What were you running a publication? It's your last email. They haven't subscribed yet. You want to kind of push them over the edge. What would you do?
Yeah. So the inclination, I think, for a lot of publishers is to offer them some insane discount on the subscription price. Please do not. I repeat, please do not do that.
You're begging.
Yeah, I don't. The reason I don't like that is it devalues the reporting and the work, everything that you do. You're saying that it's ultimately worth 50% less than what it is on the site. And so if you want to send out a discount email at the very end to nudge people, I would recommend, instead of doing a 50, 60, 70% discount, offer them a trial, maybe an extended trial. Don't put a number on it, because the moment that you put a number on it, you're telling people that my content is only worth $1 for 3 months.
Right.
But if you do a trial for
Right.
30 days, people are assuming, oh yeah, this is a trial. It's not actually worth $0. It's
Right.
I get to test this out. So the psychological difference there is key when it comes to doing this. So that would be my recommendation. What do you think? What would you do?
I support you 1,000%. I absolutely do not give it. Don't do $1. Don't go do 60% discount, 40% discount, 25%. If you discount, you're essentially instantly training your readership that your content doesn't have value.
And let me tell you, as a consumer, it puts such a bad taste in, especially in my mouth, when I go through, like I just got rid of using MailChimp, and one of the things they do when you pause or cancel your subscription, they throw this an additional 2 months for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, where was that the last 3 years? It almost feels like an insult that they were hiding this like special deal. So it's I would much rather see publishers, offer a trial and let readers take a dive into what you offer versus doing a crazy discount. And I think you'll see better results as far as like churn goes.
Yeah.
Because
Audible did the same to me. I've tried to cancel a couple of times my Audible, and I like Audible, and that's how I that's how I read books is Audible. But it's every time it's the same thing. It's like, okay, well, I have right now I have 4 credits and I need to spend, and I get through a book a month or something like that, and it's like, well, I'm a little flush on books, so I want to cancel for the moment. And then they sort of walk you through 12 screens, and you end up like not canceling, and you're just pausing for 3 months, or I forget whatever it is. And it's like, wait a second, I get that it works for them. Like it totally works because it got me to pause instead of to cancel.
Yeah.
Right. And then I had other options like get 1 credit every 2 months, and they give you like all these options. Like, wait a second, why isn't this up front? Why can't I just go into my account page and just select pause, like without having to? I mean, it's we live in a world of where we're just getting more and more time strapped every day, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. We just have less and less time. So we need ways to. We don't need the government saying, "Hey, you publishers need to provide a cancel link on your My Account page." That's not what we need. We need publishers to do these things automatically and to provide the sort of the quick management options that you can do. Okay, wow, I just went down a rabbit hole. I'm very sorry about that, but anyway. Where were we? So yes, I agree with you. Try for 30 days. You got to drop in a credit card. You get 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or however generous you want to be to basically get that person to convert. And then it's full price from there because it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. And don't be afraid. Our local news publisher here charges $15 a month. We live in a very remote part of New Hampshire, very small towns. I mean, the total coverage area for the Valley News is 75,000, something like that. And they charge $15 a month for digital. Yeah. Right? Go for it. Yeah. Full price. We pay full price. They don't discount. It's good. The print side seems to be a different story, but I don't engage on that. So I don't really
what is that print thing you talk about? What is that?
Anyway. Okay. So final thoughts on this. I'll just say start a MailChimp has it built in. Most email providers have these functions built in. And I think a few don't. I know drip.com we used for a while. That's a good one. ActiveCampaign, all these, HubSpot, they all have the drip built in, and all you got to do is write the content. So again, go to salemreporter.com, register, look at what they're doing, and put together 3 months minimum, I'd say 3 to 4 months of emails, 8 to 9 emails, spread them out, do a couple of real quick, focus on mission, focus on value, focus on your, what is the content categories that you cover, and always have a, hey, please subscribe. We need your help. Make it clear that you need your audience to pay you to survive. This resonates. This has always resonated. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Just do it.
just do it. And don't be afraid to, if you can only come up with a couple of emails, or if MailChimp wants you to upgrade because you've created 3 drips or whatever. If you can only create 3, then create 3 and see how it goes. And if you start to see an increase, then upgrade your newsletter plan and go from there.
Hey, I also want to mention that if you are listening to this and you want to talk a little bit about drip or anything else to drive subscriptions, get in touch. I'm a little afraid to say this, but so I set up with an automatic calendar scheduler. It's called Calendly. It works well. And if you go to our website, leakypaywall.com, and just go to book a demo, or contact us, you can book a meeting just like bam. My calendar's open, and I really welcome that. Please do. Favorite thing to do, talk about subscription strategy. So we'll have, hope I can help, and we'll have a good time chatting. Okay. Thanks, Tyler.
All right. Thank you.
Till next time.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Paywall Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch to discuss subscription strategy, go to leakypaywall.com. See you next time.